Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Members and guests. Why dance? Well, when it comes to dancing, dancing is something quite universal. Regardless of what period of time you can think about or what your background is, your culture, religion, dancing somehow has some kind of role in it, right? It's something that there's really no such thing as I have 2 left feet, I can't dance or anything. It's really just something that's a natural part of life. Now, it's not something critical, right? I'm sure most of us sitting here have never taken a single dance class in our life, and yet we're perfectly fine sitting here. But that's the thing, we're perfectly fine. The thing that I've learned when it comes to dance class is that it gives you so much more. Like your level of happiness, your quality of life just increases tenfold by understanding this. Now, we may not have gone to a dance class before, but at some point we have actually come up to a dance floor to dance at a party or at a wedding, right? So for instance, when it comes to guys, if you don't know how to dance, you probably do, little 1, 2-stepper thing, right? For women, it's probably a little bit more just just kind of like hair all over the place, right? That's probably what you do, and that's fine. But the equivalent of doing that on rare occasions is like the same thing as showing up to Toastmasters and just doing a quick 2-minute table topic speech and then just not showing up for another 3 or 4 months, right? You just don't get anything out of it. So it's the same thing with dancing. Now, what are the benefits of dancing? Well, the first one, there's a lot of benefits towards dancing. The one I want to focus on is the confidence that you gain when you dance. See, when it comes to dancing, you automatically start having this confidence of being comfortable under your own skin. We grow up in a society where basically we're taught that a man is supposed to be a certain way and a woman is supposed to act in another. Now, a man is supposed to be this very static, just very boring figure or whatnot, and the woman is supposed to be this very just kind of virgin-like, delicate creature, right? That's just not how it's supposed to be, and if you're trying to live up to these expectations, you're causing yourself unnecessary stress. It just doesn't work that way, okay? So I'll give you an example. At the dance studio, which right now I'm doing what's called bachata. I do this every Tuesday night. This is what it would be like if I were to uphold that macho figure and not just let go and communicate effectively, right? So the steps go like this. It'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Very boring. Yes, I know the steps. Great, right? But it doesn't communicate the message that you want, right? If you want to do it properly and you learn how to actually communicate effectively, you want to put a little bit of just pretty much be a little bit more comfortable with it. So the proper way of dancing it would be like this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? That's how you're supposed to dance. But as you can see, it's a total major difference. You see how a simple basic step automatically gets, you have a different perspective about what it is. So, this is all great and all, but how do you get your foot in the door if you've never been to a dance studio? Well, it's very simple. All you have to do is just go to Google and just see what kind of dance studios are around your local area. That's very simple, but what's the tough part? The tough part is actually showing up. And why? Because we have these fears of this unknown, and we have these common misconceptions of what a dance studio is. So I want to give you a little insight of what actually happens in a studio. So the first thing is that if you show up there, it's not going to be, guys, like the movie Step Up. I don't know if anybody has seen that, but nobody's going to challenge you in there. Okay, you're going to go in there, and you're going to do your thing, but there's not going to be a group of cool kids in the background just going like, oh, look who just showed up. That's hey, dance off, let's go. No, nobody's going to do that. Okay, so you don't have to worry about being challenged or being intimidated. The second thing is that you're a student there. You're there to learn, which means that you will be making mistakes, and that's okay. Nobody in the studio is going to judge you, and if anybody even has the balls to challenge, to even make fun of you, the golden rule at every single dance studio is that they will escort you out and tell you never to return again. That is how it works, so you never have to worry about ever feeling humiliated or put on the spot in any way, okay? Now, as far as, to really put into perspective, dance class is like Toastmasters with music. It's a warm, loving environment where you're constructively criticized, right? So that being the case, that being that it's similar to Toastmasters, there is these little factors in there of you actually being being forced to be coming out of your shell. So here at Toastmasters, it's speaking in front of everybody. At the dance studio, it's a little bit different. It's actually the biggest fear that I notice is that people tend to have this thing about making eye contact with one another. So holding each other and holding a stranger, and especially if it's somebody you find attractive, it's very difficult. Yeah, it's very difficult to actually engage in that. But if you continue with this for at least a month or two, it becomes very easy. And even at the end of the day, of the first day that you're there, it just, you walk out of there not regretting having came. Okay? So all of these things, they're really great benefits and all, but I want to go back to the same question again. Why dance? Okay, well, why Toastmasters? See, when it comes to effective communication, there's two sides to it. There's the verbal and the nonverbal. We acknowledge the fact that when we come to Toastmasters, we end up having a mastery of the verbal communication process, and it opens up all these doors for us. Well, when it comes to effective communication, 85% of it is really body language. And where else to learn effective body language speaking than at a dance studio? So it's logical to say that if you can gain a mastery of both, your world opens up and improves by at least 85%. So that is why I encourage all of you to Google. If it's not a thing on your list, on your bucket list, I encourage all of you to go out there and just give it a try. Make that goal to at some point show up at a dance studio, stick with it for a year, and just see if you can uncover some of the things that I've come to discover over the course of 6 years. Thank you.